Jeremy Showtime Grimes of Studio 22, and I'm line.
You're on the 3 Count Podcast.
And you're listening to the 3 Count Podcast.
Welcome everybody to another great edition of the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering the Ring, Randy Lawson.
That's right.
So
What's going on, guys?
Hey, nothing, man. But I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, and as always, I guess that I'm the only one with perfect attendance because Chaz is not here today. So leave it to him to have to leave it to me to do all of the work. Like always, young man, one day we'll have a discussion about perfect attendance because you cannot tell me anything otherwise. But around the horn, here's what we got, right? So we don't have Chaz, but we do have the Napster, the sleepy one, JJ.
I'd like to thank the sidewalks for keeping me off the street. It's dangerous times out here. Make sure you guys wash your hands. And just for all the listeners, just let you know, you guys are all beautiful people.
So campy. And also, we have the 55 World Tag Team Champion, the 27 Intercontinental Champion, the 3-time World Bare-Fisted Bear Wrestling Champion. We also have the former and current, because he won it again, Pakistani Toe Wrestling Champion, the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Idol.
Always happy to be here, guys.
Always happy to have you. And like I always said at the top of the show, we have a special guest. He is the man. You know him, you see him, you love him. You might see his t-shirt saying Free Randy. Give it up for Randy Lawson.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem, man. We're glad that you are able to be on this show because, we've been working to get you on. I'm glad that you came on.
Oh, so it's a pleasure to be on.
Yeah, we would have Chaz on here too, but he big moved you. He was just like, I can't show up. I got important things going on.
Yeah, I'll always remember that. I'll remember that.
You got big leagued. So
wouldn't be the
let's
first
get
time.
So let's get into it, right? So first question, like I said, we have 4 questions apiece. Normally it's 3. Obviously, Taz not here. We added all of our own questions in. Plus, we have a 10 question lightning round. So tell us right off the jump, who the hell is Randy Lawson?
I'm Randy Lawson. First of all, there is no other. Randy Lawson is most of the time, humble professional wrestler out of Richmond, Virginia. I am going on 3 years of being professional since my debut back in August of 2017. I have traveled up and down the East Coast. I've wrestled in 7 states for over a dozen different companies in the past 2 and some change years. And I try and pride myself on being the best at what I am, but obviously that's an uphill battle all the time. So basically, I'm just like I said, I'm humble, but I've had my tendencies. I don't like being disrespected, so I'll give it right back. So that's kind of a warning to everyone in here. But yeah, what do you want to know? I'm the man. You said it already.
So talk to us, man. What's your favorite promotion to wrestle in?
Oh God, just heat-seeking missiles off the first question. That's a tough thing to say, because one, politically, you can't just put me on the spot like that. I can say that I've wrestled for, like I said, over a dozen promotions. There have been a couple that I've only worked for once or twice. So what I'll do is kind of curveball this question into like a promotion I probably worked for the most. I would say that I have a handful. SCWA in West Virginia. It's probably been a company I've worked for. I'd probably say the most out of any of the companies I've worked for. I'm currently their United States heavyweight champion. And I always enjoy going up there for 2 reasons. 1, so I can leave. And 2, because I enjoy heckling those people up there. They give me a whole lot of crap. So I give it right back, and then I get the heck out of there and take my belt with me. It's a good time.
Yo, I love it, man. I love it. So that actually leads me into my next question is, what's your favorite interaction with fans?
All right, so that depends. I have a few. I do enjoy, people trying to get a high five from me, and I don't let it happen. I'm a fan of that. You coming up here, Dave? Sorry, I got my cat chilling with me. But I would say that I almost prefer the negative reaction. When they start yelling and screaming. I've had water bottles thrown at me. Don't like that per se. But I don't know. I think people coming up to me at the merch table kind of is a humbling feeling. After a match, it lets me know that they were impressed with what they saw. If they feel inclined to come talk to me at the merch table. So that's always, like I said, a humbling feeling. But if I can say one particular instance for my favorite fan interaction, I will. And it happened in West Virginia. It was the first time anyone ever asked me for an autograph, which is still, I can probably count on, both hands. But the first time anyone ever asked me for my autograph was actually in West Virginia at SCWA at a urinal. As I was in midstream, a guy says, "Hey, you're Randy Lawson. You're wrestling tonight." And I said, "Yes, sir." Again, midstream. And he's like, "Oh, that's awesome. Put her there." As I am still midstream, asking to shake my hand. I was like, "All right, man, give me a second. Like, let me finish what I'm doing here." And he took that as disrespect. He got pissed off and walked out, out of the bathroom. So I was like, okay. I was gonna at least wash my hands before I, shook your hand. That's pre-coronavirus. That was 2 years ago. And since then, that guy has hated my guts. He's come to the shows since, and he just thoroughly does not like me. And fine, because I didn't shake his hand or sign whatever he wanted me to sign in the bathroom. That's fine with me. You know what? One less fan in that aspect. I hate to say it, but okay, it's okay though. In that aspect.
All right. And so for my last question,
Yes.
Where does Randy Lawson want to go in the future?
Everywhere. Again, that's a question that's I can kind of break down into two things. In the very near future, I thoroughly enjoy wrestling up and down the East Coast. There are definitely a lot more companies and promotions on the East Coast that I want to be a part of. But I do, like I said, in the near future, within I give myself kind of like a year, goal. I want to go West Coast, Midwest, South, like Texas, anywhere I can physically go on my own, that I have an opportunity to go, is where I'd like to go. Obviously, in the grander scheme of things, I'd love to go anywhere, anywhere that I can make a living doing it. Where I am a professional wrestler, but at the end of the day, I want to make it to the point where I can wrestle 4 or 5 days a week, and that's what I do, and that's what pays the bills. So I guess that's the higher end of that, and also because I love what I do, I want to be where the best of the best are. So whether that be WWE, AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact, MLW, any of those companies that are near the top of the upper echelon of professional wrestling, that's where I want to be.
All right.
Okay, Randy. So a little bit ago, you talked about Cliff shooting you with a heat-seeking missile. So I've got a heat-seeking missile of my own for you.
All right, bring it on.
What's the worst match you've ever had?
All right. Okay. Hey, that is quite all right. Oh man. Yeah, physically speaking, it was a good match. It was one of my biggest opportunities. But I wrestled Alpha Jr. In a match, and I tried to punch his head and found out almost immediately why you don't ever touch a Samoan's skull, because they're hard as nails. He was hard hitting, and I mean, to me, I don't want to say it as one of the worst, my worst match. That would take me time to think about. For me, the thing that was overall, like, to me, it was my first time wrestling in front of my family. My parents were there. I had, some hometown friends. It was the first time I'd ever wrestled in my hometown. And I just, I felt on my own part, I didn't do as much as I should have, to take the opportunity to show what I've been doing, because this would have been back in September of 2019. So right at the 2-year mark of my debut. So I don't think, especially being put up against someone of that caliber of Alpha Jr., someone who has a fantastic family lineage and has been way more places than I've been so far. As far as that goes, he and I think had a blast. It was a fun match. He beat the shit out of me, and I felt my pride was hurt a little bit because I feel like I didn't do as much as I could have in that match, especially with the pressure of having my family there. That I feel like I thrive in that position, but I just, in that night, it happens, I feel like I dropped the ball. So personally, in my own head, that was my personal worst match. But overall, it wasn't that the match was bad. Just to me, it was.
Okay, that's a fair answer. Now, before I knew that you wrestled a member of the Samoan dynasty, because that might be the answer to my next question, but outside of that, what's the hardest you've ever been hit inside the wrestling ring?
Probably a chop from Alpha Jr. His hand, and I'm not the biggest guy, don't get me wrong, but I'm about 185, 5'7", 8, depending on who looks at my driver's license or not. But, I'm decently sized. Again, I'm not the biggest, but I'm definitely not the smallest guy in the professional wrestling business. But he chopped me, and it sounded like lightning striking, or thunder. It sounded like thunder. And when I went to the back after the match and took I think I was wearing a shirt that match. I took the shirt off, and the handprint literally stretched from under my right nipple to my left shoulder. It just encapsulated my entire chest. So I walked around with that for a couple days. It was awesome. Don't get me wrong. That was a very fun match. Like I said, I'm disappointed in myself, but that chop I took, like I said, it took up all the real estate of my entire chest.
That's insane.
Yeah.
All right. So Randy, so you've been wrestling now. This will be your 3rd year wrestling. So of all the places that you've gotten to wrestle, what's the strangest place that you've?
I don't want to keep harping back on West Virginia because it's so easy to. And I feel like as much as I call them out, they're gonna ban me from coming. They're like, look, man, stop. You just talk trash about us. Stop coming. But yeah, it's. I hate to do that. I feel like I'm picking on them, but it does have in certain areas it has strange characteristics. And I don't even want to add fuel to the fire of the whole West Virginia jokes, the brother-sister marriage and stuff, except for the fact that I went to a show in West Virginia and a couple introduced themselves to me as a cousin, cousins, and then later in the same exact show told me they were married. I'm like, okay, wait, what's going on here? This is real? But that being said, I guess that would probably have to take the cake. Yeah.
Okay. And my last question for you is, what's been your biggest regret so far in wrestling?
I guess at times giving 95 when I should give 100%. There have been times where I've not been fully focused when I should have been. But it's easier for me to say that my biggest regret is not figuring out how to get trained and start my journey earlier. I'm 26 years old, and being that I started at 23, it's a good age. A lot of guys start at that age, but for me, I see a lot of guys that I wrestle with now that have been doing it since they were 18. As soon as they could get into training, they did, and that's one of my bigger regrets. Is I flirted with it for a while. Here in Richmond, there was a company called GXW. That they're no longer around, but a lot of the guys that came from there are still around and still making a name for themselves and still doing a hell of a lot on the indies right now, and I feel like I missed out on kind of that training going, kind of leaving the station a lot. Like I said, a lot of those guys got really good training. Nick Aldis and Mickey James live in Virginia near me, so they were guest trainers there a lot. And they had, like I said, they just had a ton of talent there, and it was local. It was 15 minutes from my house, and at the time, money, like work, I just could never line everything up right to get in there. But I'm proud of where I'm at now, and I have, I still have confidence I can continue rising and keep going. So it's kind of hindsight's 2020 in that regard.
Alrighty, I guess it's my turn to step up to the plate. What was the worst bump you've ever taken throughout your career? What's the worst bump?
Yikes. I've only really ever had I don't want to say, because I've gotten, landed awkwardly many a times, or something, something just doesn't go right, maybe it's not like a full mess up, and most people wouldn't even notice that it was a mess up, but I would say I jumped too early for a German suplex one time, and it wasn't the person's fault who did it to me. It was I jumped and landed on my neck. I was fine afterwards, but I know at the time I was like, oh man, that could have been way worse than it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So other than that, I haven't really taken any bad bumps, knock on wood. But I have taken some stiff shots. I took a forearm it was Montvale, Virginia, and simple, he threw his manager at me. I pushed the manager out of the way. Next thing I know, I took a discus forearm to the face, and before I could even get to the ground, there was already a puddle of blood. Thankfully, teeth were good, everything was good, but I had a split almost to my nostril, and thankfully I didn't need stitches, or at least I assume I didn't, because it's fine now. I didn't go get any. But yeah, that one wasn't fun. At the time, it didn't hurt, but the next couple days, it did not feel good. I couldn't eat, so that's happened to me a couple times.
Alrighty, I'm about to pick the brain of Randy Lawson here. What's your motivation? What drives you to wrestle? What gets you out of your bed and be like, I want to wrestle?
Seeing people do it way better than me, and wanting to be on that level. Always being a fan of wrestling. I've looked up to guys it's hard. Everyone always asks me my Rushmore and things like that, but I've always looked up to guys like RVD and Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels, kind of a core of guys who influenced me. And out of the names I just named, two of those guys are still working hard and still at the top. Well, at the top, they absolutely are. And I look up to that. That influences me because I see the longevity. I see that they've done. They've been able to stay where they're at for as long as they have, and that motivates me. Also, just the love of it. I've been a fan of wrestling, since my parents caught me watching wrestling and tried to take the TV away. So sorry, my battery is. There we go. Gotta get my charger straight. Sorry about that.
That's all good. All good.
So yeah, I guess what would influence me, like I said, are the guys like that, that are workhorses and a night in, night out, put on a show. And like I said, the love for wrestling and my own, my own personal experiences with wrestling, continue to influence me. All the good that's come from wrestling in such a short amount of time just continues to push me.
All righty. My next question for you is, what is the best advice you can give to young and up-and-coming wrestlers?
All right. I would say to just, once you figure out who you are, and what you want to do, just don't stop. There are going to be, with anything in life, but especially in wrestling, there are going to be speed bumps along the way, and some bigger than others. They're going to slow you down, but just don't let. There's going to be a lot that they can try and discourage you with in wrestling, but just head up and kind of just always try and stay positive. There are going to be times when you're in a locker room or at a show and things just aren't good for you. You might not have gotten on the show. You know, that's fine. I'll help out with the ring, all that stuff that all the guys that have told me, you know, like just, hey, help out where you can. Don't beg. You know, don't say, please put me on this show or anything. That never gets you anywhere. No one's ever gotten a job that way in any business or sport. So yeah, it's just all about commitment and knowing that that's what you want to do and going through with it.
And all right, for my last question, what is the most challenging thing about being a wrestler? For you, in your opinion?
For me, it's a big mental thing about wrestling that can be difficult sometimes. Like the physical aspect of it doesn't bother me at all. Drives don't really bother me at all. I like driving a lot of times. You know, got the relationships you build with guys on the road is big, and I have family now basically from going to shows and riding in cars, so that doesn't bother me. The travel, setting up the ring, none of that really bothers me. It's the mental thing of it. It's trying to always do the right thing, which I do regardless. But the thing about wrestling that kind of, I guess what I would say is hard. Let me let the cat out. I'm sorry. Is just, again, I'm always worried about making the right decision. You know, like, man, if I say no to this company, is it going to come back to bite me? Or, you know, if I'm double booked, you know, how can I save, you know, not give myself any heat, I guess is really what it comes down to. And I have no problem staying out of trouble. I don't have any controversial thoughts or have any inclination to get on like social media and go on rants or anything like that. And you see a lot of guys that shoot themselves in the foot and in their entire careers because they wanted to say something stupid on Twitter. So I'd say that's the hardest thing for me with wrestling, is trying to balance that, because I like joking around, but I don't make stupid jokes or offensive jokes, you know, because one, it's stupid. There's no need for it. And on top of that, you can say one thing and lose your whole career over it. And again, I don't have controversial thought to even put out there, but still, towing that line, I think, is sometimes difficult.
Well, I was gonna say, all right. I mean, that's all of our kind of like our big questions for you, but we do have one more thing to go through, and that is the lightning round. And JJ has got those questions for you. So JJ, fire away when ready.
Alrighty, let's put, as Chaz would say, the imaginary timer up there. Ding! There we go. Alrighty, let's get down to business. Basically, the lightning round is whatever I say. You can basically whatever like comes first in your mind.
Okay.
That's yep. All right.
Do it.
Yep. All right. SmackDown or Raw?
SmackDown.
Describe yourself in one word.
Badass.
I like that. All right. What's your favorite cuss word?
Shit.
Your favorite color?
Blue.
Dream vacation?
Not West Virginia.
Oh, favorite cartoon?
Fairly Odd Parents. That was tough. That might have been wrong. I lied to you, but go for it.
I like it. Rock or Austin?
Austin.
Last time you laughed out loud?
2 seconds ago.
What is your favorite movie?
I was gonna be funny and say Titanic, but I'm gonna say Superbad.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that.
Last final question. What is your favorite fast food place?
Oh, yeah. You opened the door with that one. This doesn't count as fast food. Royal Farms. I don't have one of those in Virginia. So every time I come up to Maryland, I have to always go to Royal Farms. I know it's not technically fast food, but that fried chicken, it runs my world.
Yeah, that's that crack chicken.
Oh, yeah. I might fail a drug test after eating it. That's fine.
So that and hip hop chicken. They put something in that chicken. But yep, that does the lightning round. Go back to you, Cliff.
All right.
So, Randy, once again, thank you for coming on the show. I just want you to plug your social medias and where people can find you. You know, give us where you've been.
All right, awesome. So right now on social media, I'm on Facebook. You can just look up Randy Lawson, and my beautiful face with my luscious red hair should pop up, and you will know that's me. My Instagram is Randy Lawson Pro. There is no other, so the one you click on will be me. I am actually, as of about a week or two ago, I'm trying to kind of revamp my YouTube channel, so I'm not going to plug that just yet. But if you follow my Instagram and my Facebook, you can find updates about that. I'm going to be posting full matches and highlights and things like that, because as of right now, a lot of that just kind of gets filtered to my Instagram. So I'm going to kind of revamp my YouTube, get that really solidified, and get you guys some stuff on there, some content on there. And like I said, I'll plug that on my Facebook and Instagram when that's all ready to go. I'm currently working on a Pro Wrestling Tees store to get some merch on there. But at the moment, I only have physical merch in my physical possessions. So unless I see you physically, I can't get you any shirts at the moment. But other than that, that's my social media. As of right now, the only booking I have going forward during this pandemic is August 8th. And again, that's August 6th. August 6th. It is August 6th in, guess where?
West Virginia.
West Virginia.
For SCWA. And I will be defending my United States Championship against a opponent to be determined. I might just issue an open challenge and let one of those guys from West Virginia take a shot at me, because I know they want to. But other than that, is kind of the pandemic. We're trying to figure out where we can go forward with wrestling. That's the only booking I have set in stone. So I will be posting all my bookings on my Facebook and Instagram and things like that. So just keep posted on that. And hopefully you guys will see me here soon. You'll definitely see me in 2020 before it's all said and done.
You're right on. So that wraps up pretty much like the interview, you know?
Okay.
And to be honest with you, Randy, you will see me August 8th in Glendale, West Virginia, making my pro debut against Ron Holiday, who issued that challenge, and that'll be seen on a future episode of
I thought you were about to drop the bombshell on me that you were my opponent. I was about to lose my mind.
Well, Randy, now you put that open invitation out, maybe we might have to make something work. No,
you can have Ron Holiday. Because that keeps him preoccupied, and I don't want him near, if at all possible. I will tell you this. Even with the coronavirus, there's no amount of hand sanitizer in the world that you could put on yourself after wrestling Ron Holiday. Once you wrestle Ron Holiday, he's a part of you forever.
I mean, those are true statements. It's a true statement.
I say that with love.
I'd say with love too. Well, these guys have met Ron Holiday. We actually just had him on a previous episode for the 3 count now entering in ring. So yeah,
everyone has a good Ron Holiday impersonation. I don't know if y'all are aware. It's very easy to do. My name is Ron Holiday.
Well, there we go, guys.
Again, I say it with love. I believe I'll be at his wedding if they're still doing it this summer. I don't know what Corona stopped that, but
yeah,
he's a good guy. He means well. He just should just shower once or twice a week more.
I agree. So with that being said,
ever hear this, I love you, man. I know. I got one coming to me. I know.
With that being said, guys, that is now into the ring, Randy Lawson, and as always, you have the Napster, the Idol, and myself, the Red Dog, and we will see you guys next time.
Hey guys, it's the Icon Chaz Evans here with the 3 count. If you like this clip that you just seen, make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms. It's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook it, Photo Bucket, all that. And talk about it. Talk about what you've seen. Talk about what you heard. And if you like us a lot, how about you go check us out on all your streaming platforms and make sure to listen to 3 count. Icon out. Bang.